Humanity has of course put together many great achievements. And today we're going to talk about another one of those because today we have a Superman series that does not feature its most boring and useless villain, General Zod.
You stupid!
Which might not be as much of an achievement to other people, but to me, it's a pretty big achievement. Yes everybody, today we're talking about My Adventures with Superman Season 3. And I have to say that this series is fantastic. For the last few years, this is the series that has been getting me back into DC Comics, back into DC cartoons, and DC films. Okay, and maybe I'm telling a little bit of a lie here and there, because, of course, I did just finish Star Trek Lower Decks, and that did lead me into following My Adventures of Superman just because of Jack Quaid. But seriously, can you blame me? This man is just perfect. Anyway, back to Superman. And yes, this series for the last few years has been the thing that I have been the most interested in that has been coming from DC. Other DC projects like Batman, Caped Crusader, and of course the live-action films, they've all been very interesting and have been something that I have enjoyed. But really, I'm sad to say that I haven't enjoyed any of those projects to the same extent that I've enjoyed this one with My Adventures of Superman. Sorry James, 2025 Superman was pretty good, but really, I'm holding out for Man of Tomorrow. Honestly, I have to say that the reason why I think I've enjoyed My Adventures with Superman better than most other DC projects at the moment just has to be the fact that it is a truly modern retelling of established stories and characters. Whereas something like Batman the Caped Crusader is trying to harken back to a lot of the old film noirs of the 1940s, I feel like My Adventures of Superman is really doing something very new and modern with a lot of its takes on established characters and storylines. Seriously, you know the show is doing something right when it turns Jimmy Olsen into an influencer, and I don't hate it. And I know that there have been some people out there hoping for a project like this for a while now because of course everybody wants an anime something. But here I think that a lot has gone into this project to really make it successful, more so than just demanding it be an anime. Which, don't get me wrong, is something I do all the time. I'd wish that so many different stories were animes. I mean, my high school history lessons would have been a whole lot more interesting if we had just turned history into anime. Oh shit, speak of the devil. But okay, in all seriousness, I have to say that this DC anime is really good. And honestly, it's something that has been consistently good with basically every season. The first season is something that I got into very slowly and cautiously, but really by the end of that season, it was something that had totally convinced me on the show's premise. I loved getting introduced to all these new iterations of established characters, and of course, I liked seeing Jack Quaid as Superman. And like I said earlier, I also liked this show's takes on other characters as well, aside from just Superman, like Jimmy Olsen and Lois Lane. And I know there are a lot of other people online, typically of the whole culture war crowd, who had a big problem with this Lois Lane. And really, on that subject, all I have to say is whatever. Honestly, this Lois Lane is a lot of fun, and I do like her a lot. Saying that though, she isn't my favourite Lois Lane, but she is still pretty high up there on my ranking of different Lois Lanes. Christ, you take a shot every time I say Lois Lane or Superman in this video and you're going to be dead by the end of it. So I like these new iterations of these characters, and in Season 1 it was a lot of fun seeing them get developed and have them really start to establish different relationships with one another. Moving into Season 2, the show really did a lot to properly develop itself and expand beyond what it was with the first season. And honestly, I've really enjoyed it. I thought the season did a great job introducing us to new iterations of characters like Kara, as well as, of course, my GOAT, Brainiac. Seriously, I love this guy. He's fantastic, and Michael Emerson does a fantastic job voicing him. Really, Michael does a great job bringing a whole new energy to the most pissed off toaster in the universe. And Superman that season, he was also pretty fantastic. Of course, Jack Quaid always does a great job with his voice acting, especially in Star Trek Lower Decks. But in Season 2 of My Adventures of Superman, Jack did a really great job bringing a whole new dimension to this Superman, as the character really tried to embrace his Kryptonian heritage and then stand in objection to that heritage when it tried to destroy his new home. And this has become a whole new other talking point that people are starting entire flame wars about. Yes, My Adventures with Superman does feature an evil Kryptonian empire, But still, in saying that, it is not invincible. There is no big overreaching sort of Viltrumite evil empire. No, it's something a bit more different and I think a lot smarter than that. Okay, so back in the early days of comics, when Superman was first established and printed, Superman was established as a stand-in for a sort of Moses-like character, with his two creators, Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster, making that very apparent in the early days of the character. And Superman, of course, was a big champion of the oppressed, taking on wife-beaters and, of course, greedy landlords, which honestly was great and really worked for the time when Superman was first being printed back in the 1930s. With Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster really drawing on a lot of their previous experience as Jewish immigrants in the 1930s to establish what would be the sort of tone and stories for that character back in the 1930s. Which, yes, was a point in time for Earth's history that was, particularly contentious, let's just say. But still, it was Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster using a lot of their experience from the time to really establish Superman and his characters and world in the comics. Which, by the way, is something that My Adventures of Superman is still doing today, as it really is clear that the creators behind My Adventures of Superman are obviously drawing off world events today to inform the show, as the show's creators are clearly drawing on their experiences coming out of the world today, as the world is still struggling with a lot of oppression and greed and everything else, but still, the creators are using all of their experiences with that to create a new modern champion of the oppressed, a new Superman for the modern era. And honestly, I just have to say right now that the way that this show frames Superman, his Kryptonian heritage, and Krypton is all very interesting, and it's something that's developed in both Season 2 and Season 3. Now, anyway, with that tangent over, I'm going to leave some Superman videos by Troy Oboyo17 linked in the description because, of course, he talks about all these topics a lot better than I do. And really today I'm just focused on My Adventures with Superman Season 3. Now, I'm not exactly going to say that My Adventures with Superman Season 3 is the best thing since sliced bread, but it is pretty close.
Not bad, not bad.
Honestly, I've really enjoyed this season of the show. This season we got introduced to a bunch of new characters and I've loved basically all of them. Jury's still out on Eradicator though, but with me being as biased as I am towards Brainiac, yeah, there's basically no way that anybody's taking the top villain spot from Brainiac. But still, regardless, this season of the show has been pretty fantastic in other ways as well. The new characters are all a bunch of fun and really put together quite well. But of course, there are other characters from the previous seasons also back in this season of the show. And yet, Jack Quaid is back this season and he's fantastic. This season, Superman's got the weight of the world on his shoulders, and yeah, without his Kryptonian super strength, he's really starting to feel it. But yeah, in all seriousness, I've really enjoyed what they've done with Superman this season. They've given him a new sort of character arc this season, where he has to go on a really sort of both physical and spiritual journey, which I found really quite interesting. And the same thing really goes with Lois this season as well. Yeah, Lois is going through it this season, and Alice Lee thankfully brings a whole new dimension to the character this season. I haven't mentioned Alice Lee yet, but yeah, she is really good as Lois Lane. But this season in particular, however, I feel like she's been doing the best that she has on this show. And honestly, seeing what both Lois and Clark have to go through this season, it's really made me get into their characters quite a bit more. Not enough for me to say that I think that this is the best Superman and Lois Lane pairing I've ever seen. Honestly, I think the new 2025 James Gunn movie probably had a better pairing. But still, in saying that, there is a really good chemistry between this version of Lois and Clark. The story this season has also been pretty fantastic. I don't think it's been as great as what we got with Season 2, however, but still, for what it is, I do think that it has worked out really quite well. And yeah, like I said earlier, I do enjoy really seeing a lot of the previous cast return this season, but one character has returned this season who I have enjoyed immensely, and that has to be Alex Luthor. I can't believe that somebody at DC wouldn't actually let them use the name Lex. Ah well, Alex is just as good. Honestly, I like that whole sort of way of thinking from the people behind the show. Don't ask for permission, just ask for forgiveness. Anyway, yes, Alex Luthor this season is pretty fantastic. Honestly, when you distill both Lex and Alex Luthor down to their most important character aspect, you'll find out that both characters are really pathetic. Seriously, Alex and Lex Luthor are intelligent, powerful, and wealthy men, but when one Superman comes from another planet and does a better job at being more of a champion of the oppressed than they do, they get super jealous. And then of course, their jealousy leads them to embark on a pathetic tirade to either get the Supermen out or straight up kill them. It's the most important part of any Alex or Lex Luthor, and this show knows it, giving us a fantastically pathetic Alex Luthor, which is really just a lot of fun to watch on screen. Max Middleton does a great job as Alex Luthor, and yes, I know I'm probably saying the last name wrong, but still, this guy does do a really good job as Alex, and I thought he was just a whole lot of fun to watch this season. Still though, I do wonder if Alex put together the plan to create a bunch of Superman clones because he hates Superman before or after he cut out that chunk of his brain. Knowing Alex, I'm going to go with probably before. And finally, I have to say that I've really enjoyed my adventures with Superman Season 3. But there has been one or two little nitpicks that have kept me back from really enjoying the series. And the big one just has to be that I feel like the animation this season has degraded ever so slightly. Don't get me wrong, all the fight scenes look fantastic, and the majority of the time the show looks absolutely gorgeous. But still, I have seen in various different episodes this season, various moments where it feels as if there just wasn't enough time to get some of the movements correct. Or it's just felt like there's been a few moments this season where there hasn't been enough money in the budget to afford a few extra frames here and there. Some of the lip syncing and some of the character framing this season has looked, to me, a little clunky every now and then. But I do have to hesitate with what I'm saying right now because the overwhelming majority of the show does still look just as fantastic as the previous seasons. Unfortunately though, however, it just has been something that I've noticed here and there throughout the season and has kept me back from saying that the season is perfect. Also, one more little nitpick and gripe that I had with the series just has to be that I felt as if maybe we could have cut down this season just a little bit, maybe condense the whole season from 10 episodes to 9 episodes, because it does feel as if sometimes there's not much happening in some parts of different episodes, and I do feel like there could have been something where maybe one episode was taken, it was spread thinly and evenly in other episodes, and the budget for that episode could have gone to just really giving those other episodes what they needed to be truly perfect. And yes, I know that that would mean that there was one less episode this season, but also it would mean that the other episodes got a little bit extra budget for maybe a few more frames here and there where they were needed. Also this season, I don't feel as if you're particularly missing much by cutting down the season by just one episode. I don't want to say there was any filler this season, but I do feel as if there was a good way to maybe take the story from one episode and spread it evenly across the other episodes this season. But again, that's just me being nitpicky. Otherwise, I have to say that the rest of this season has been pretty fantastic. So yes, my adventures with Superman Season 3. I've really enjoyed this season. But still, I want to know what you guys have thought about this season of the show. Have you enjoyed it? Have you not? And what have you thought about the Eradicator? And of course, the new characters we got this season. Please let me know in the description down below. And yes, if I have spoiled anything, I'm sorry. I've tried to keep this video as spoiler free as possible, but yeah. Anyway, thank you all for watching, everybody. Please don't forget to do all the other YouTube stuff, like, subscribe and comment, and I will see you all in the next one. Goodbye.